The rain came down hard on the streets of Seoul. Dae-sung Kim twisted the throttle on his electric scooter and sped between the cars. Water splashed up from the wheels. His phone buzzed again with another delivery order. He was already late for 3 customers, 28 years old and still delivering food. His mother kept asking when he would get a real job. His friends from school all worked in offices now. They wore nice suits and talked about promotions. Dae-sung wore a yellow jacket with a food delivery company logo on the back, but he did not mind it too much. He liked moving through the city. He liked the freedom of the roads. And the tips were good when he was fast. Tonight was different, though. The rain made everything harder. His hands were cold even through his gloves. The insulated bag on his back felt heavier than usual. He had 5 orders to deliver before midnight. He pulled up to a tall apartment building in Gangnam. Luxury apartments. The kind where people left big tips. He grabbed the bag and ran toward the entrance. The security guard waved him through. 18th floor. The elevator felt slow tonight. Dae-sung checked his phone. Still 3 more deliveries after this one. He would be riding until 1 in the morning at least. The customer took the food and gave him a small tip. Dae-sung thanked him and headed back to the elevator. On the way down, he thought about his life. Was this all there was? Riding a scooter in the rain forever? Outside, he walked back toward his scooter. That was when he saw it. In the dark alley beside the building, something was glowing. A faint blue light like a phone screen, but different, softer somehow. Dae-sung looked around. The street was empty. Rain poured down. He should just get back on his scooter and go to the next delivery. But something made him curious. He walked into the alley. The blue light was coming from something on the ground. It looked like a small metal disc about the size of his palm. Strange symbols covered its surface. They seemed to move and shift as he stared at them. Dae-sung bent down and picked it up. The moment his fingers touched the metal, everything changed. The device suddenly became warm in his hand. The blue light grew brighter. Then a shock ran through his arm, up to his shoulder and into his head. It did not hurt exactly. It felt more like recognition. Like the device knew him. Blue light exploded from the disc. Dae-sung tried to drop it, but his hand would not open. The light wrapped around his wrist like water. Then it sank into his skin. He gasped and stumbled backward. The disc was gone. Or no, not gone. It was inside him somehow. He could feel it under his skin, moving up his arm. His heart pounded. What was happening? Then floating in the air in front of him, words appeared. They were written in Korean. They glowed the same blue color as the device. Nexus key activated. Biometric scan complete. Bearer identified. Welcome, Dae-sung Kim. Dae-sung waved his hand through the words. They were not real. They were holograms or something. He looked around the alley again. Was this some kind of joke? Were his friends playing a trick on him? More words appeared. Integration beginning. Neural interface establishing. Language protocols loading. Knowledge database connecting. His head suddenly filled with images. He saw stars, planets, strange beings that were not human, cities made of light, ships flying through space. All of it poured into his mind like water filling a glass. Dae-sung fell to his knees. The rain soaked through his pants, but he barely noticed. What was this thing? Where did it come from? After a minute, the flood of images slowed down. His breathing returned to normal. He stood up carefully. Everything looked the same. The alley, the rain, his scooter parked on the street. But nothing felt the same. He held up his hand. The skin looked normal. But he could feel something inside. A presence. Not painful, but definitely there. Like having a second heartbeat. His phone buzzed. The next delivery was waiting. Dae-sung looked at it and realized he could see more information than before. Not just the address and the food order. He could see the exact route, the traffic patterns, even the weather conditions along the way. All of it appeared in his mind without him asking for it. He shook his head and climbed onto his scooter. Maybe he was just tired. Maybe he had hit his head and was imagining things. He would finish his deliveries and then go home and sleep. Everything would be normal in the morning. But as he rode through the rain, the strange feelings did not go away. In fact, they got stronger. He started noticing things he had never noticed before. The way the traffic lights were timed, the patterns of people walking on the sidewalks. Even the rain seemed to fall in a way that made sense now. following rules he could almost understand. At the next delivery, an old woman answered the door. She smiled at him and spoke in English, asking if he had change for a large bill. Dae-sung started to answer in Korean, then stopped. He had understood her perfectly. English had always been hard for him in school, but now the words made complete sense. He answered her in English without thinking about it. The words just came out. The old woman looked surprised but happy. She gave him a good tip. Back on his scooter, Dae-sung's hands were shaking. This was real. Whatever that device was, it had done something to him, changed him somehow. He finished the last 3 deliveries in record time. His mind seemed sharper. He could predict which roads would be empty. He knew exactly when to accelerate and when to brake. It was like his brain was connected to the city itself. By the time he got home, it was past midnight. His small apartment felt different too. Too small, too simple. He could see how everything was built. The wiring in the walls, the structure of the building. Information he should not know just appeared in his head. Dae-sung sat on his bed and held his head in his hands. He needed to tell someone about this. But who would believe him? His mother would think he was sick. His friends would laugh at him. Then he thought of Ji-won, his oldest friend from childhood. She worked at a tech company. She was smart and practical. If anyone could help him figure this out, it would be her. He pulled out his phone to text her, but before he could type anything, the blue words appeared in the air again. Warning. Detection protocols activated. Multiple entities. Searching for Nexus key. Maintain low profile, do not reveal capabilities. Dae-sung stared at the warning. Someone was looking for this thing. Looking for him now. He stood up and walked to his window. Down on the street, a black car was parked across from his building. It had not been there when he came home. The windows were dark. He could not see inside. His enhanced vision kicked in. Suddenly he could see through the dark glass. 2 men sat in the car. They wore suits and earpieces. They were watching his building. Dae-sung stepped back from the window. His heart raced. This was bad, very bad. He was just a delivery driver. He did not know anything about mysterious devices or people in black cars, but he knew one thing for certain. His life had just changed forever. That simple delivery to a luxury apartment had led him to something incredible and dangerous, something that people were willing to watch and wait for. And somehow, without understanding why or how, the device had chosen him. Dae-sung did not sleep that night. He sat by the window and watched the black car. Around 4 in the morning, it finally drove away, but he knew they would be back. When the sun came up, he texted Ji-won. They agreed to meet at a coffee shop near her office. He needed someone to talk to, someone who might understand. The morning was bright and cold. Dae-sung wore a baseball cap pulled low over his face. He took 3 different subway lines to make sure no one followed him. His new enhanced senses made it easy to spot anyone watching. Ji-won was already waiting when he arrived. She looked the same as always. Professional clothes, her hair tied back, a laptop bag over her shoulder. Normal. Everything about her was normal and safe. She smiled when she saw him. Then her smile faded. She could tell something was wrong. They sat in a corner booth. Dae-sung ordered coffee but did not drink it. He did not know where to start. How do you tell someone that an alien device is inside your body? Ji-won reached across the table and touched his hand. Her voice was gentle when she spoke. What happened? You look terrible, so he told her. About the alley. The glowing device. The blue light that went into his skin. The images of alien worlds. The enhanced abilities. All of it. Ji-won listened without interrupting. Her face stayed neutral. When he finished, she sat back and crossed her arms. You know how this sounds, right? She said carefully, I know. But it is real. Look, Dae-sung concentrated. The Nexus key responded immediately. Blue light formed in the air above the table. Symbols and numbers appeared, rotating slowly. A star map expanded, showing systems and planets that did not exist in any human database. Ji-won gasped. She reached out to touch the hologram. Her fingers passed right through it. How are you doing this? Is it some kind of projector? It is in me, part of me now. I can feel it. The hologram disappeared. Other people in the coffee shop were starting to stare. Ji-won pulled him toward the door, not here. Come on. They walked quickly through the streets. Ji-won was thinking hard. Dae-sung could almost see the gears turning in her mind. Okay, Assuming this is real and not some elaborate tech prank, we need help. Real help, scientific help. Who could possibly help with this? G1 stopped walking. She pulled out her phone and scrolled through some articles. There is this scientist, Hana Lee. She studies electromagnetic anomalies and weird physics stuff. She is kind of famous in certain circles, and she lives here in Seoul. Before Dae-sung could respond, the Nexus key activated on its own. New words appeared in his vision, visible only to him. Danger. Hostile entities approaching. 3 individuals. Armed distance 50 meters. Dae-sung grabbed Ji-won's arm. We need to go. Now. What? Why trust me? Run, they ran. Behind them, Dae-sung heard shouting. He looked back and saw 3 men in dark suits pushing through the crowd. One of them was speaking into a radio. His enhanced reflexes kicked in. Time seemed to slow down. He could see every possible path through the crowded street. The Nexus key was guiding him, showing him where to go. This way. He pulled Ji-won into an alley. They ran between buildings, jumped over boxes, ducked under low pipes. The men in suits were fast, but Dae-sung was faster now. The Nexus key made him stronger and quicker than he had ever been. They burst out onto another street. A ladder led up to a fire escape. Without thinking, Dae-sung jumped and grabbed it. He pulled himself up with impossible strength. Then he reached down and pulled Ji-won up after him. They climbed 3 stories and then ran across rooftops. Ji-won was breathing hard, but she kept up. Finally, they stopped behind an air conditioning unit. What is happening? Ji-won gasped. Who were those people? Government agents, I think. They want this device. Can you give it to them? Can you take it out? No, it is bonded to me. The Nexus key said so. I am stuck with it. Ji-won looked scared but determined. Then we definitely need to find Hana Lee. If anyone can understand this, she can. They waited on the roof for an hour. The sun climbed higher in the sky. Down below, the men in suits searched the streets. Eventually, they gave up and left. Dae-sung and Ji-won climbed down and caught a taxi to the university where Hana Lee worked. The campus was huge and old. Trees lined the paths between stone buildings. They found her lab in the physics building. The door was locked. Ji-won knocked hard. Go away! A voice called from inside. Dr. Lee? My name is Ji-won Park. We need your help with something unusual. I am busy. Make an appointment. It is about the object that fell from orbit 3 days ago. Silence. Then the sound of locks being undone. The door opened a crack. A woman's face appeared. She was younger than Dae-sung expected, maybe in her early 30s. Her hair was messy and she wore thick glasses. How do you know about that? Her eyes were sharp and suspicious. Because I found it, Dae-sung said, and now it is inside me. Hana Lee stared at him. Then she opened the door wider. Get inside, quickly. Her lab was chaos. Papers everywhere. Screens showing complex equations. Half-eaten meals on every surface. She cleared a space on a table and gestured for them to sit. Show me. Dae-sung activated the Nexus key. The hologram appeared again, filling the lab with blue light. Hana Lee gasped and stood up. She moved around the hologram, studying it from every angle. Incredible. This is technology centuries beyond anything we have, maybe thousands of years beyond. Can you help me? Can you remove it? Hana Lee sat down slowly. She took off her glasses and cleaned them. I detected the object falling 3 days ago. My instruments picked up the entry trajectory. I was planning to search for it, but someone beat me to it. It found me. I think it chose me. Hana Lee nodded slowly. I believe you, and I believe we are in serious danger. If this device is here, others will come looking for it. Not just human governments. The original owners. As if responding to her words, alarms started blaring outside. Red lights flashed through the windows. Then they heard gunfire. The Nexus key sent another warning. Critical alert. Non-human entities detected. Korvath Empire mercenaries. Objective. Retrieve Nexus key by any means. Dae-sung stood up. Through the window, he saw figures moving across the campus. They were not human. They were taller, with strange proportions. They wore armor that seemed to absorb light. His simple life as a delivery driver was gone. Now he was being hunted by aliens, and somehow he had to survive. The lab exploded behind them. Dae-sung grabbed Ji-won and dove through the door. Hana Lee was right behind them. Fire and smoke filled the hallway. The Nexus key took over his body. His muscles moved faster than thought. He ran with both women following. Energy blasts hit the walls where they had been standing seconds before. They burst out of the building. Students were screaming and running everywhere. The alien mercenaries moved through the chaos like hunting animals. Their weapons glowed with strange energy. But then something else happened. Black vehicles roared onto the campus. Human soldiers poured out wearing tactical gear. They opened fire on the aliens. A man in a suit ran toward Daesung. He showed a badge, Tae Hyun Choi National Intelligence Service. You need to come with me right now. Daesung did not trust him, but staying here meant dying. He nodded. They ran to one of the black vehicles. Soldiers covered their escape. The aliens were strong, but human weapons still worked on them. For now, the vehicle sped away from campus. Inside, Taehyun studied Daesung carefully. Where is it? Where is the device inside me? I cannot remove it. Taehyun's face hardened. Then you are coming with us. Korea needs that technology. They drove deep underground into a secret facility. The base was huge. Hundreds of soldiers and scientists worked in the tunnels. Daesung realized the government had been preparing for this. They knew aliens existed, a conference room. Generals and politicians filled the seats. Hana Lee and Jiwon sat beside Daesung. Everyone stared at him like he was a weapon they wanted to use. A general stood up. Young man, you are now a matter of national security. We need you to give us access to that device. Our scientists can extract its knowledge. Before Daesung could answer, alarms rang through the base. Everyone looked at the screens on the wall. Above Seoul, the sky was changing. A massive ship appeared, materializing out of nothing. It was beautiful and terrifying. Silver and blue, shaped like a flower made of light. It dwarfed the tallest buildings. Then a voice spoke. It came from every speaker in the base, every phone in the city, every television. The voice was calm and musical. People of Earth, I am Ambassador Lyra of the Zenari Coalition. We come in peace. We seek the bearer of the Nexus Key. We must speak with them urgently. The room erupted in shouting. The generals argued about what to do. Hana Lee leaned close to Daesung. You should meet her. This might be humanity's only chance to understand what is happening. The Nexus Key sent him information. Ambassador Lyra was telling the truth. She meant no harm. The Zenari Coalition was different from the Korvath Empire. They believed in cooperation, not conquest. I will meet her, Daesung said loudly. The room went silent. Taehyun stepped forward. You do not have the authority to make that decision. The Nexus Key chose me, not you, not your government. Me. I will decide what happens next. To his surprise, one of the older politicians nodded. He is right. This is bigger than any one nation. Let him meet the ambassador. But we come with him. An hour later, they stood in an empty field outside the city. The alien ship descended slowly. It was even more beautiful up close. The metal seemed alive somehow, flowing like water. A door opened in the side of the ship. Light poured out. A figure stepped through. Ambassador Lyra was not what Daesung expected. She looked almost human, but not quite. Taller, more graceful. Her skin had a faint glow. Her eyes were large and kind. She wore flowing robes that moved without wind. She walked toward them and stopped a respectful distance away. When she spoke, her voice was gentle. Thank you for meeting me, bearer. I know this must be frightening. Why is this happening? Daesung asked. What is the Nexus Key? Ambassador Lyra sat down on the grass. It was such a human gesture that everyone relaxed slightly. Long ago, there was a race called the Architects. They were the first intelligent beings in the galaxy. They learned everything there was to know, but they knew they would not live forever. So they created 12 keys. Each key contains part of their knowledge. Together, the 12 keys can access the Architect Archive, all the wisdom of 1 billion years. Why did it choose me? I am nobody. Just a delivery driver, Lyra smiled. The keys do not choose warriors or kings. They choose beings with specific qualities. Adaptability, compassion, creative thinking. You have these qualities, Daesung Kim. That is why it bonded with you. What about the Korvath? Why do they want it? Lyra's expression became sad. The Korvath Empire believes in strength above all else. They have been searching for the keys for centuries. If they gather all 12, they will use the archive's power to conquer the entire galaxy. Every world, every species, and you? What does the Zenari Coalition want? We want to protect the keys, to make sure they are used wisely. The archive contains knowledge that could save civilizations or destroy them. It must be handled carefully. Taehyun stepped forward. What about Earth? Where do we fit in all this? Lyra stood and looked at all of them. Humanity is young but promising. You have great potential. The fact that a key chose a human is significant. It means your species has something special, something the architects valued. Can Earth join your coalition? Hanali asked. Yes, if you wish. But you must understand what that means. You will be exposed to the wider galaxy. There will be dangers. Opportunities too, but dangers. Before anyone could respond, the sky changed again. This time the ship that appeared was dark and angular. It looked like a weapon. Red lights glowed across its surface. Commander Vex, Lyra whispered. He has found us. A new voice boomed across the city. It was harsh and cold. Humans. You have something that belongs to the Korvath Empire. Surrender the Nexus Keybearer within 24 hours, or your capital city will be destroyed. This is your only warning. Daesung looked at the dark ship hanging over Seoul. Millions of people lived in that city. His family. His friends. Everyone he had ever known. The Nexus Key showed him options. Thousands of possible futures. In most of them, Seoul burned. In some, the entire world burned. But there were a few paths where humanity survived. Where Earth had a future among the stars. Those paths were narrow and dangerous. But they existed. He took a deep breath. A few days ago, he had been worried about late deliveries and low tips. Now the fate of his entire species rested on his shoulders. He looked at Ambassador Lyra. Tell me everything. I need to understand what I am facing. I will not let my world burn. The world changed overnight. Every television showed the alien ships hovering over Seoul. Every phone buzzed with emergency alerts. People fled the city in huge crowds. Others stayed, refusing to abandon their homes. Daesung sat in the underground base and watched it all happen. His choice would decide if those people lived or died. The weight of it crushed down on him. Ambassador Lyra had returned to her ship. But she left behind a communication device. If Daesung needed her, he could call. The Zanari coalition fleet was gathering beyond the moon, ready to help if Earth asked. Tae-hyun paced the room like a caged animal. We should be preparing to fight. Our military can hold them off while our scientists study the device. Hanali shook her head. Fight with what? Bullets against ships that can cross the galaxy? We would lose in minutes. Then we surrender the device. Save the city, it is bonded to him. Hana gestured at Daesung. You cannot just hand it over. They would have to take him. Or cut it out of him. Ji-won had been quiet, but now she spoke. Why did it have to be you? You never asked for this, no one asked for these things, Daesung said quietly. They just happen, like finding that device in the alley. Pure chance or fate, Hana suggested. Maybe the architects designed it this way. The key's finding people when they are needed most. Daesung stood up. He needed air. He needed to think. The guards tried to stop him, but he pushed past them. The Nexus Key made him stronger now, fast enough that regular humans could not catch him. He found a supply tunnel that led to the surface. Night had fallen. The stars were hidden behind clouds and the glow of the alien ships. His scooter was still parked where he left it days ago. It looked so normal, so ordinary, like a piece of his old life that did not fit anymore. He rode through the empty streets. Most people had evacuated. A few remained, sitting on rooftops watching the sky. Some prayed, others just waited. His apartment building was dark. He climbed the stairs to his family's home. His mother opened the door before he could knock. She must have been watching for him. She pulled him into a tight hug. His father appeared behind her. They looked older somehow. Tired, we knew you would come, his mother said. Everyone is talking about the delivery driver with the alien device. We knew it was you, I am sorry. I did not mean to bring danger to our home. His father put a hand on his shoulder. You always had a good heart. Even when you were small, you helped people, shared your food, stood up for weak kids at school. If this device chose you, it chose well. But what should I do? Millions of lives depend on my choice. His mother smiled through her tears. You will do what is right. You always do. We raised you to be honest and kind. Trust yourself. They sat together in the dark apartment. No one spoke. Sometimes silence said more than words. This was his family. These were the people he was trying to protect. After an hour, he hugged them both and left. He rode through the city one more time. This time, he really looked at it. The buildings his friends lived in. The parks where he played as a child. The streets he knew better than anyone after years of deliveries. This was Earth. Imperfect but beautiful. Full of people who loved and laughed and struggled and hoped. They deserved a future. He activated the Nexus key. Information flooded his mind. The device had been learning about him too. It knew his memories, his fears, his hopes, and it showed him something new. A hidden function. The Nexus key could create a shield around Earth. A barrier that would protect the planet from attack. But activating it would require full integration. Dae-sung would become something more than human. Something less too, maybe. He returned to the base. Ji-won and Hana-Lee rushed to meet him. "Where did you go?" "We were worried," Ji-won said. "I needed to remember why I am fighting." Tae-hyun entered with a squad of soldiers. His face was hard. "We are out of time." "The deadline is in 2 hours. We need to extract that device now. Our scientists think they can do it. It might kill you, but it will save the city." "No," Dae-sung said firmly. "You cannot have it. I will handle this my way. You do not have a choice." Tae-hyun signaled the soldiers. They moved forward with restraints. The Nexus key reacted instantly. Blue energy burst from Dae-sung's body. The soldiers flew backward. Alarm screamed. Tae-hyun reached for his gun. "Stop!" Ji-won threw herself between them. "This is insane, fighting each other while aliens threaten us." Hana-Lee nodded. "She is right. Dae-sung is not our enemy. He is our only hope. If we fight him, we guarantee defeat." Tae-hyun lowered his gun slowly. He looked defeated. "Then what do we do? Let them destroy Seoul?" "No," Dae-sung said. "I'm going to talk to Commander Vex. That is suicide." "Maybe. But the Nexus key showed me something. The Korvath respect strength and honor. Their commander challenged us. I will answer that challenge directly. How do you plan to get onto their ship?" Dae-sung smiled. It was not a happy smile. "The Nexus key can transport me. It has coordinates for Korvath vessels. I just have to be brave enough to use it." Hana-Lee grabbed his arm. "This is incredibly dangerous. You might not come back. If I do nothing, millions die. At least this way I am trying." Ji-won hugged him hard. "Come back, please. You are still my best friend. I do not want to lose you. I will try. Take care of my family if I do not make it." Even Tae-hyun nodded with respect. "You are braver than I gave you credit for. Good luck, delivery driver." Dae-sung closed his eyes. He activated the transport function. The Nexus key pulled at the fabric of space around him. Blue light engulfed everything. When the light faded, he stood on the bridge of the Korvath warship. Dozens of alien warriors turned to stare at him. They were huge, armored with weapons that hummed with deadly energy. At the center of the bridge sat Commander Vex. He was even bigger than the others. Scars covered his face. His eyes glowed red. But when he saw Dae-sung appear, he laughed. It was a sound like thunder, so the little human has courage after all. "Good. I was afraid this would be boring. Tell me, delivery driver, are you ready to die for your world?" Dae-sung took a deep breath. The Nexus key formed a shield around him, protecting him from the hostile atmosphere. "I am ready to fight for it. If you want the Nexus key, you will have to take it from me." Commander Vex rose from his chair. He was massive, nearly 3 meters tall. Cybernetic enhancements glowed beneath his armor. He had fought 1,000 battles across 100 worlds. Dae-sung was just a human who delivered food for a living. But the Nexus key hummed with power inside him. It would not let him die easily. Vex walked down from his command platform. The other Korvath warriors moved aside. They formed a circle around Dae-sung. This was going to be a formal challenge. "You have spirit, human." "I respect that," Vex said. His voice was deep and rough. "In my culture, disputes are settled through combat. Winner takes all. If you defeat me, my fleet leaves your world. If I win, I take the Nexus key and your species bows to the Korvath Empire. Those are terrible terms." Dae-sung said. "They are the only terms you will get." Vex smiled, showing teeth like knives. "Do you accept?" Dae-sung looked around the bridge. Screens showed Seoul below. Millions of people waiting to see if they would live or die. He thought of his family, his friends, all the strangers he had delivered food to over the years. "I accept." Vex laughed again. Then he pressed a button on his wrist. The floor beneath them shifted. They dropped down into a large chamber below the bridge. It was an arena. The walls were scarred from countless battles. More Korvath gathered on platforms above to watch. This fight was being broadcast across their empire, entertainment and propaganda combined. Vex removed his command armor. Underneath he wore combat gear covered in weapons. Blades extended from his arms. Energy emitters built into his shoulders. Daesung had only the Nexus key. He activated it fully. Blue energy wrapped around his body like armor. Information flooded his mind. Combat techniques from a dozen species. Weak points in Korvath anatomy. Tactical assessments updating in real time. Begin, Vex roared. He moved impossibly fast for someone so large. 1 second he was across the arena. The next his fist was driving toward Daesung's head. The Nexus key took control. Daesung's body moved without thought. He dodged left. The fist whistled past his ear and hit the wall. Metal crunched. A crater appeared where Daesung had been standing. He rolled away and came up running. Vex pursued. Energy blasts shot from the commander's shoulders. Daesung weaved between them. The Nexus key calculated trajectories before Vex even fired, but dodging was not enough. Daesung needed to fight back. He focused energy in his hand and threw it at Vex. A bolt of blue light struck the commander's chest. Vex stumbled back 1 step, then he laughed. Good. You have some power. But power alone is not enough. You need skill, experience, rage. Vex charged. This time he was not holding back. His blades slashed in complex patterns. Daesung blocked with energy shields. Each impact sent shockwaves through his arms. He was strong now, but Vex was stronger. A blade got through his defense. It cut across his shoulder. Pain exploded. Blood ran down his arm. The Nexus key immediately began healing him. But it hurt. Daesung jumped back. He needed a new strategy. He could not beat Vex in direct combat. The commander had centuries of experience. But maybe that was also a weakness. The Nexus key showed him patterns in Vex's fighting style. The commander always attacked the same way. Always moved in predictable sequences. He had fought so many battles that his techniques became automatic. Efficient but limited. Daesung started fighting differently. Instead of proper combat forms, he used moves from his life. The quick reflexes from dodging traffic on his scooter. The balance from carrying heavy delivery bags. The spatial awareness from navigating crowded buildings. He became unpredictable. He rolled under attacks instead of blocking. He used the environment, bouncing off walls, sliding across the floor. He fought like someone who had spent years finding creative solutions to everyday problems. Vex started to show frustration. His attacks became wilder, less controlled. Daesung was not fighting like a warrior. He was fighting like a survivor. The Nexus key fed him more information. Vex had a weakness in his left side where old injuries never fully healed. His cybernetic eye had a slight delay in processing fast movements. His armor had a weak point at the neck joint, but Daesung hesitated. If he exploited these weaknesses, he might actually kill Vex. Did he want that? The commander was his enemy, but he was also just following his culture's rules. Vex sensed his hesitation. He pressed the attack harder. A blade caught Daesung's leg. He fell. Vex loomed over him, ready to strike the final blow. Then the Nexus key showed him something else, memories from its previous bearer, an alien who had fought Vex before. That bearer had tried to kill the commander and failed. Violence only made Vex stronger, but there was another way. The Nexus key could share information both ways. It could show Vex what it had shown Daesung, the memories of dead civilizations, the cost of endless conquest, the loneliness at the end of all that violence. Daesung reached up and touched Vex's arm. Blue energy flowed between them. The commander gasped. His eyes went wide. For a moment he saw what Daesung had seen. All the worlds that burned, all the species that went extinct. The empty victories that led nowhere. Vex stumbled backward. His blade lowered. He looked at Daesung with something that might have been confusion or might have been pain. What did you do? I showed you the truth. The architects left their knowledge for a reason, so others would not make their mistakes. Daesung stood up slowly. His wounds were healing, but he still hurt. You are strong, Commander Vex, maybe the strongest warrior in the galaxy. But strength is not everything. The architects learned that. Your empire will learn it too eventually. The question is how much will be destroyed before that lesson comes. Vex stared at him. The arena was silent. Every Korvath warrior watched to see what their commander would do. You could have killed me. Why did you not? Because I am not a warrior. I am just someone trying to protect my home. Killing you would not do that. Understanding you might, Vex laughed. It was different from before. Quieter. more thoughtful. You are strange, human. Your weakness makes you strong. Your compassion gives you power. I do not understand it, but I respect it. He turned to face his warriors. The challenge is complete. This human has proven himself worthy. We will withdraw from Earth space. The Nexus key is his by right of victory. The Korvath warriors roared approval. In their culture, might made right. Daesung had demonstrated might, even if it looked different from what they expected. But then the bridge doors exploded inward. A different Korvath stormed in, surrounded by guards. He was smaller than Vex, but his eyes burned with ambition. Commander Vex is weak, this new Korvath shouted. He shows mercy to the enemy. He lets a human defeat him. I, Sub-Commander Krell, challenge his leadership. Vex turned slowly. His face hardened. You dare, I dare. And I claim this fleet in the name of true Korvath strength. We will destroy the human world as planned. We will take the Nexus key. And we will prove that mercy is weakness. Half the Korvath warriors moved to Krell's side. A coup. Right here in the middle of everything. Krell pointed at the main screen. It showed the weapons charging. Targeting Sol. The human city burns in 5 minutes. And there is nothing you can do to stop it, old commander. Daesung looked at Vex. The commander's face showed anger and something else. Regret, maybe. He had been trying to do the right thing. But his own people turned on him for it. The Nexus key activated again. New information flooded in, and this time it brought a solution. A dangerous one, but the only option left. Daesung spoke, his voice carrying across the arena. Commander Vex, if you help me stop this, humanity will remember the honor you showed today. Earth could use allies like you. Real allies, not conquerors. Vex looked at him. Then he smiled. It was a warrior smile, fierce and ready. You are right, delivery driver. Some things are worth fighting for beyond simple conquest. Let us stop this fool together. 4 minutes until Sol burned. Daesung could see the countdown on every screen. The weapons were charging. Krell's forces controlled the firing systems. Commander Vex moved fast. He rallied his loyal warriors with a battle cry that shook the ship. They charged at Krell's forces. The arena erupted into chaos. Korvath fighting Korvath. Daesung activated the communicator Lyra had given him. Ambassador Lyra, I need help. The Korvath are fighting themselves, but weapons are still targeting Sol. Her voice came through immediately. We detected the power surge. The coalition fleet is moving to intercept, but we are too far away. 3 minutes is not enough time. Then I will stop it from here. The Nexus key showed him the ship's systems. It was complex technology, but the device was already learning it. Translating. Finding the pathways Daesung needed. He ran toward the bridge. Vex saw him and understood. The commander and 6 loyal warriors formed a protective ring around Daesung. They fought their way through the chaos. Krell stood at the command console. He laughed when he saw them coming. Too late, old fool. The weapons fire in 2 minutes. Nothing can stop it now. Daesung did not waste time talking. He extended his hand and the Nexus key reached out with pure energy. It touched the ship's computer systems, started to interface with them, but Korvath systems had defenses, security protocols designed by engineers who understood hacking. The Nexus key was powerful, but it was meeting resistance. 1 minute 30 seconds. Below on Earth, Hana Lee watched the countdown. She was connected to global defense networks now. Every military on the planet was coordinating. It would not be enough, but they had to try. Then her computer screens lit up with new data. Someone was sending information from the Korvath ship, technical specifications, weapon frequencies, shield harmonics, everything needed to defend against the attack. It was Daesung. Even while trying to stop the weapons, he was sharing everything he learned with Earth's defenders. Hana started working immediately. She fed the data to military systems around the world. Missiles retargeted, defensive satellites reoriented. It was not much, but it was something. 1 minute, Ambassador Lyra's fleet arrived. 20 beautiful ships dropped out of hyperspace near Earth. They positioned themselves between the Korvath warship and Sol. Their shields went up. We will absorb what damage we can, Lyra broadcast. But we cannot stop this alone. Earth needs to help itself. Tae-hyun coordinated Earth's military response. Fighters launched from bases across Asia. Ships from every nation moved into position. Human weapons were primitive compared to alien technology, but there were thousands of them. 30 seconds. On the Korvath ship, Daesung pushed harder. The Nexus key burned with energy. He could feel it changing him further, making him more machine than human. But he did not stop. Finally, he broke through one firewall, then another. He was inside the weapons system. But there was no disable function. Krell had removed it. The only way to stop the weapons was to overload the power cores, which would destroy the ship, killing everyone aboard. 15 seconds. Commander Vex saw what Daesung was planning. The old warrior smiled. Do it. If this ship must die to save your world, then it is a good death. An honorable death. Better than living as Krell's tool. But Daesung hesitated. All those Korvath warriors. Even Krell did not deserve to die like this. 10 seconds. Then the Nexus key showed him one more option. A crazy option. Instead of destroying the weapons, he could connect them to every friendly ship nearby. Share the energy across multiple vessels. Distribute the load. The Korvath ship would survive but be powerless. The Coalition fleet would gain a massive energy boost. Earth's defenses would synchronize perfectly. It required trust. Complete trust. The Coalition would have to lower their shields at the exact moment the energy transferred. Earth would have to coordinate perfectly with alien ships they barely understood. 5 seconds. Daesung broadcast to everyone. Lyra's fleet. Hana's command center. Every ship and soldier watching, trust me, lower your shields. Accept the connection now. He did not know if they would listen. He was asking the impossible. But this was humanity's first real test among the stars. Could they work together with aliens? Could they take a leap of faith? 0, the weapons fired. Massive energy beams lanced toward Sol. Then the Nexus key activated its crazy plan. Blue lines of light connected every ship. Coalition vessels. Loyal Korvath ships. Earth fighters. All linked through the Nexus key's network. Energy flowed between them like water finding new channels. Ambassador Lyra had trusted him. Her ships lowered shields and accepted the connection. The energy weapons that would have destroyed them instead powered their systems to incredible levels. Hana had trusted him too. Earth's defense network synchronized with the alien ships. Human missiles flew in perfect formation with Coalition torpedoes, different technologies working as one. Even Commander Vex's loyal forces accepted the link. Their weapons added to the combined firepower. The death beam meant for Sol was intercepted by a shield formed from 100 different ships. Human and alien working together, it held for 3 seconds. 5 seconds. 10 seconds, then the weapon overloaded. The Korvath ship's power cores shut down. Emergency systems activated. The ship went dark, but Sol still stood. Millions of people looked up at the sky and saw the light fade. They were alive. Daesung collapsed. The Nexus key had burned through his energy. He had connected too many minds at once, shown them all a glimpse of what cooperation could achieve. Vex caught him before he hit the floor. That was incredible. You connected our weapon systems to theirs. Made enemies into allies with pure trust. I have never seen anything like it. Krell and his supporters were stunned. Their great weapon was useless. Their ship powerless. All around them, former enemies now worked together. Vex walked over to Krell. His voice was quiet but firm. You see, this is what I learned from the human. Real strength comes from unity, not from forcing others to submit. The Korvath Empire needs to evolve, and you need to learn that lesson. Krell said nothing. He had lost everything in trying to gain everything. Ambassador Lyra's face appeared on the main screen. Daesung Kim, you have shown us something remarkable today. Humanity's potential is greater than we imagined. On behalf of the Zenari Coalition, I formally invite Earth to join us as equal members. From Earth, Taehyun's voice came through. We accept. With gratitude and hope for our future together, Daesung smiled weakly. His vision was blurry. The Nexus key was trying to heal him, but the damage was severe. Using that much power had cost him. Then the device activated again without his command. Words appeared in glowing blue letters. Not just for him. For everyone connected to the network. Critical alert all. 12 Nexus keys have activated convergence. Protocol initiated bearers. Must gather at Architect Station within 30 standard days. Failure to converge will result in key deactivation and archive. Lockdown for 10,000 years. The message faded. Silence filled every ship. Ambassador Lyra spoke first. The convergence. It happens only once every few thousand years. All 12 bearers alive at the same time. This is bigger than any of us expected. Daesung, you must make this journey. The fate of the entire galaxy may depend on what happens at that station. Daesung looked at the stars through the ship's windows. Somewhere out there, 11 other people carried keys like his. He would have to find them. Work with them. Face whatever tests the architects left behind. His journey was just beginning. 3 weeks passed. Earth changed in ways no one could have imagined. The alien ships still filled the sky, but now they were friends instead of threats. Coalition engineers worked with human scientists. Knowledge flowed both ways. Sol rebuilt quickly with alien technology. Buildings that were damaged in the attacks were repaired overnight. People walked the streets again, looking up at the stars with wonder instead of fear. But Daesung spent most of that time recovering. Using the Nexus key at full power had nearly killed him. Zanari doctors worked to heal him. They said his body was still adapting, still becoming something new. He sat in a hospital room and watched news broadcasts. Every channel showed the same thing. Humanity's first steps into a galactic community, treaties being signed, technologies being shared. It was the beginning of a new age. Ji-won visited him every day. She brought him news and kept him company. She looked tired but happy. Her tech company was now working with coalition firms. The opportunities were endless. How are you feeling? She asked, different. The Nexus key changed me. I can feel it in every cell. I am stronger, faster, but sometimes I wonder if I am still really human. Ji-won squeezed his hand. You are still you. The same person who delivered food in the rain. Who complained about low tips. Who helped old ladies with their groceries. The power did not change that. Hana Lee entered the room. She looked excited, carrying a tablet full of data. I have been studying the Nexus key's capabilities. It is incredible. The architects were geniuses. They encoded information in quantum states that can last billions of years, and there are still functions we have not discovered. Will you come with me? Daesung asked her. To the convergence? Hana nodded immediately. Of course. This is the scientific opportunity of a lifetime. Meeting the other key bearers. Accessing the architect archive. How could I say no? What about you? Daesung looked at Ji-won. Will you come? She shook her head sadly. Someone needs to stay. Earth is joining the coalition, but we need representatives here. People who understand both worlds. I can do more good on the ground, Daesung understood. Ji-won always knew where she was needed most. That night he went home to see his family. His parents met him at the door. They had aged in the past weeks. Stress and worry had marked their faces. But they smiled when they saw him. His mother cooked his favorite meal. They ate together like they used to when he was young. For a few hours everything felt normal, like none of this had happened. Like he was still just their son who delivered food. After dinner, his father walked with him on the balcony. The city lights mixed with starlight from above. You are leaving soon. Yes, I have to go to the center of the galaxy, meet the other bearers. It could take months, maybe longer. Will you come back? I do not know. The Nexus key shows me possibilities but not certainties. Some paths lead home. Others lead to places I cannot imagine. His father put a hand on his shoulder. When you were small, you wanted to be an astronaut. Do you remember? You would draw pictures of rockets and planets. Then you grew up and became practical. Got a real job. But maybe this is your childhood dream coming true in a different way. Daesung smiled. He had forgotten about those drawings. About the boy who looked at stars and dreamed of adventure. Maybe you are right. The next morning, Ambassador Lyra arrived with a gift. A ship. It was smaller than her flagship but still beautiful. Silver metal that seemed to flow like water. Advanced engines that could cross the galaxy in weeks instead of years. This is for you, Lyra said, to carry you to the convergence. We call it a Pathfinder-class vessel. Fast, smart, and nearly impossible to destroy. Perfect for a journey into the unknown. Taehyun stood beside her. The government agent looked different now. Less suspicious. More respectful. Earth is providing military escorts. 3 ships to accompany you. We want to make sure you arrive safely, and we want to learn from this journey too. Even Commander Vex appeared. His ship had been repaired and upgraded. The Korvath warrior had become an unexpected ally. I will travel with you as well. My empire needs to understand what the convergence means. And I have learned much from watching you, delivery driver. Perhaps there is more to learn. Daesung looked at the gathered allies. Human, Zanari, Korvath. Different species working together. It had seemed impossible just weeks ago. Now it felt natural. The Nexus key activated. It showed him the route to the Architect Station, through nebulas and past dying stars, across the spiral arms of the galaxy, a journey that would change everything. The departure came too quickly. Thousands gathered to watch. Cameras broadcast the event worldwide. Humanity's representative leaving for the stars. Dae-sung hugged his parents one more time. His mother cried. His father tried to be strong, but his eyes were wet too. Come back to us, his mother whispered. No matter what happens out there, remember you have a home here. I will. I promise. Ji-won hugged him hard. You better send messages. Tell me about all the weird aliens you meet, all the crazy adventures. I want to hear everything, he smiled. I will fill your inbox. You will get tired of my stories? Never. He walked up the ramp into his new ship. Hana Lee was already inside, checking systems with childlike excitement. The ship responded to his thoughts. The Nexus key made him one with the vessel. He sat in the pilot's chair. Through the windows he could see Earth, the blue planet that had been his whole world. Now it was just the beginning. Before launching, he sent one final message. It went to every phone, every screen, every radio on Earth. This is Dae-sung Kim. A few weeks ago I was delivering food in the rain. Today I represent humanity to the galaxy. That should tell you something important. Anyone can rise to meet the moment. Anyone can make a difference. You do not need to be special. You just need to try. Earth is not alone anymore. The universe is full of opportunities for those brave enough to reach for them. I will carry our hopes with me to the stars, and I will come back with knowledge to share. Wait for me. He ended the transmission and activated the engines. The ship lifted smoothly. Around him, the escort vessels took formation. Lyra's coalition ships, Vex Korvath cruiser, Earth's military craft, all flying together. They climbed through the atmosphere. The sky changed from blue to black. Stars appeared, clear and bright. Millions of them. Billions. Each one a sun with its own worlds. The Nexus key showed him where to go. It detected the other 11 keys scattered across the galaxy. They were calling to each other. 11 bearers like him, each chosen for similar reasons. Each carrying part of the greatest treasure in creation. Hana moved to stand beside him. Ready for the journey of a lifetime? Ready as I will ever be. He activated the hyperspace drive. Reality folded around them. In an instant, Earth disappeared behind them. They were moving faster than light, riding currents between dimensions. Down on Earth, Ji-won stood with millions of others. They watched the sky where the ships had vanished. Some people cried. Others cheered. All of them felt the same thing. Pride, hope, wonder. Humanity had joined the galaxy, and their representative was a delivery driver who found a mysterious device in a dark alley. Sometimes the most important people are the most ordinary ones, the ones who just keep going, who never give up, who do their best even when it seems pointless. Dae-sung had been delivering food for years, riding through rain and traffic, making sure people got their meals. It was simple work, but he did it with care. That same dedication now carried him across the stars. The Nexus key hummed with energy. It showed him visions of what lay ahead, challenges, dangers, wonders beyond imagination. He would meet the other bearers. They would face the Architect's final test. The fate of countless civilizations would depend on their choices, but that was for later. Right now he just watched the stars stream past. He thought about his journey, from delivery driver to galactic representative, from ordinary human to something more, from alone to surrounded by friends and allies from a dozen different worlds. The universe was vast, full of mysteries, full of possibilities, and humanity was finally part of it, not as conquerors or servants, but as equals, as partners. As friends, Dae-sung smiled. His adventure was just beginning, but he knew one thing for certain. No matter how far he traveled, no matter what he saw, he would always remember the rain-soaked streets of Seoul, the simple life of deliveries and tips, the people who believed in him because that was who he was. Not a hero, not a warrior, just someone who tried to help. Someone who kept going even when things were hard. Someone ordinary who found himself in an extraordinary situation. And maybe that was what the architects wanted all along. Not perfection, not power, just someone good enough, someone human enough. The ship jumped to hyperspace again, racing toward the galaxy's center. toward the other bearers, toward the convergence, toward whatever came next. And back on Earth, people looked up at the stars and knew they were not alone, and their future was bright.